Hey guys, welcome to my channel, and today I'm going to be talking about Red Christmas. A family Christmas gathering in an isolated Australian estate turns into a holiday from hell when a mysterious stranger turns up at their door. So I'm sure most of you have probably heard about this film before. I know whenever us horror YouTubers talk about horror Christmas films, this one is always brought up, whether it's because people absolutely love it or because they absolutely hate it. I definitely feel like this film is usually one or the other, but personally for me, I don't have a lot of strong feelings about this film. I definitely thought it was still a good film. I did like it. I think it's definitely, if you haven't seen it but you've heard about it, I definitely think it's worth watching. However, I'm not really that passionate about it either way. I didn't absolutely hate it, and I don't absolutely love it. I think it's just a very odd Christmas horror film. You know, for those of you who kind of know the big political topic of this film, I wouldn't say I was necessarily like offended by the topic by any means. I don't know if this movie was trying to make any sort of political statement either way. If it was, I don't really understand it, but okay. And like, that's the thing, I'm not talking a lot of detail. I don't really want to get, I guess, too spoilery for this one for those folks who haven't seen it. I did watch this on Netflix in the US, for anybody who is wondering. Yeah, I just thought it was an okay film. It wasn't horrifically bad, but it wasn't outstandingly great either. Yeah, I don't really have a list of likes and dislikes for this one. I did start kind of trying to write down some things, but there wasn't a whole lot that really popped out at me either way. My big kind of, I guess, issue was I was having a bit of a hard time understanding exactly where all this was supposed to be taking place, and of course until I kind of read more about it, because a lot of times, especially if I know I'm going to review a film, I don't always necessarily go into it knowing what the film's about. So if it's something I've never heard of, sometimes I'll read the description just so that I can have a general idea on whether or not it's something I want to watch. But when it's a film like this that I've heard a lot about but didn't know necessarily enough about going into, that's the big thing. Is I feel like when people talk about this movie, especially when they know whether or not you've seen it, depends on what exactly they talk about in this film, which is basically what I'm kind of doing in this review. And so yeah, that's kind of why I'm not going into those specific details. It's because for those of you who haven't seen it, and you're interested in it, I don't want to spoil anything for you. But anyway, back to what I was saying as the kind of big annoyance is me not really getting, at first, I guess, where all this was taking place until I read that about me, because part of the family is Australian and the other part seems to be like American, like Southern America, and that kind of threw me off a little bit, because I was like, okay, where is all this taking place? Because I know the topic of conversation is obviously a big deal in America, especially right now, and yeah, I'm not really sure about in like Australia and other places. I don't really know y'all's, I got real southern, political stuff, but according to this movie, it's also a big issue there as well. But yeah, so that kind of was the only main thing that really annoyed me for the most part. And then the main thing that stood out on the positive end, I'd have to say for me, was the kills for this one. They were definitely unique. If you've been here a while, you know how I am. I really like it when it comes to the unique kills, especially in slasher-esque films, which this kind of really is. But yeah, that's really all I had to say about this film. Like I said, I really just didn't have a lot of opinions on this, so I do apologize if you were, you know, hoping for a little bit more. But for this one, I really did, like, I liked it. I thought it was an okay film. You know, I'm not passionately leaning either way, but, you know, and I did say, and I'll say again, that if you haven't seen this one, but you've heard about it and you think you'd be interested in seeing it, definitely go ahead and watch it. You know, and if you do end up hating it, you know, it's an hour or two of your life, but hopefully you end up enjoying it. If you have seen Red Christmas, let me know what you thought about it in the comments below, and let me know what other horror Christmas films you'd like me to review, all leading up until Christmas. So yeah, just let me know. And if you did enjoy this quick review, please do give it a big old thumbs up. If you have not, make sure you hit that subscribe button for more horror related content. And before I go, a quick shout out to my Patreons. Thank you guys so much for helping to contribute to the channel. If you want to know the perks to being a Patreon, links in the description below, along with all of my social media. So thank you guys so much, and I'll see you later with another video.